this couldn't happen again.
Hey guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing Read Every Summer After with me. I have been wanting to film this video of like, oh, read this book with me. I started reading it on the boat. So I read chapter 1 and then I started half of chapter 2. So before I tell you guys what I have annotated, because I do annotate my books, I'm going to explain my annotating. Anything I highlight in blue means that it's just really sad and that it touched me. Something I highlight in yellow is just something that's funny that I laughed out loud. Something I highlight in green means something that's just really nasty or disgusting or an ick or a turn off that I just had to highlight. Something in pink is something that was cute that was said by one of the main characters. Purple means that it was cute. I don't know how to explain purple, but it means that it was cute, but it wasn't meant to be highlighted. Or it's something cute that someone else said that isn't the main characters. For this one, I don't really use this highlighter. I used it on the last book I read, but I don't remember what I used it for. And then my pen, I only use to write something if I really feel like I need to put a word in somewhere in the book. Or I use it to underline, and when I underline, it means that I can relate to what it's saying, could somehow correlate with something in my life. So that's what I use the pen for. We actually might get pretty deep if I tell you guys what I underlined. I've only annotated one thing and it was underlining. It says there was only the one and that one is long gone. That was pretty deep. So I don't know how much I'm going to read today, but I'm going to read as much as I can. I'm going to read the rest of chapter 2 and probably chapter 3. Don't know. Just finished chapter 2. This book is like kind of like Love in Other Words and People We Meet on Vacation, where they go back and forth between the present and the past. And I actually kind of love books like that. I'm going to start chapter 3 now. I am highlighting in blue. It says, there are these moments I come back to when I'm at my most nostalgic, when all I want to do is curl up in the past with Sam. Time to underline. So I started underlining when it says wondering, but I'm gonna read the sentence before that just so that it all makes sense, because wondering is like in the middle of a sentence. But the memories and the regrets they carried with them chafed like the blanket's wool, and I would lose nights imagining where Sam was at the precise moment, wondering if there was a chance he might be thinking of me. Sometimes I felt sure he was, like there was an invisible, unbreakable string that ran between us, stretching vast distances and keeping us joined. Now I'm not gonna say why I relate, because that's getting too deep. So I just underlined. I didn't really underline because it's a lot, so I just did this. Okay, so here she's talking about her and her best friend and how they talk about everything, but she had never told her best friend about the relationship she had with Sam when she was younger, and that when she finally told her, she was like shocked that she didn't tell her that for such a long time. This is all in her head, by the way, before I say this. She says, I am fun. I just don't want to talk about what keeps me awake at night. I don't want to reveal how I'm beginning to question whether climbing the ladder has made me happy, how sometimes I long to write but can't seem to find the courage, or how lonely I sometimes feel. Chantel is the only person who can pull it out of me. I didn't underline that last part, but I think it's so cute how close her and her best friend are. So, the next chapter is 19 pages long. I'll get back to you guys when I continue reading. Hello everyone. I know I look rough. It is 9 a.m. I am going to continue reading Every Summer After. Also, I was watching Stephanie's video of her doing also like a read with me. She did sort of like a spoiler section and then a non-spoiler section, and I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'll see, but I'm just gonna continue reading. I am on chapter 4. It says summer 17 years ago. Let's go. Okay, so they're talking about her name. Her name is Persephone. If you watched my video of, I'm pretty sure it was my book haul. If you didn't watch that video, go watch it, because as soon as I was reading the back and I read that her name is Persephone, I had a heart attack. And the boy is asking, so why Persephone? Like, why is that your name? And she said that it's from Greek mythology and it stands for goddess of the underworld, which is cool, I guess, but like, that's a long name. And now she's saying that it doesn't suit her, but he's saying, I think it suits you. And then he's like repeating her name, and he says that he likes it. Interesting. And then now she's asking what his name is short for, and she's like guessing names, and she says Samson, which reminds me of Heart Bones. just had to put that in there. But turns out his name is literally just Sam. This is so cute. It's such like a minor detail, but he says, tell me about this bracelet you keep playing with. So he's just like observing her. If I'm like fidgeting with my hands or something, or I'm fidgeting with like my bracelet, no one will notice. Like, I don't think anyone will notice. So the fact that he noticed and he's like curious about it, about the bracelet that she's fidgeting with, is so cute. So before, I literally pointed out how he's an observer, and he just keeps coming in clutch with some more things that he's observing about her. And he says, you're always doing that, Sam said, looking over at me. Doing what? Touching your hair. And I wrote with my pen, I put, and you're always observing her. ... Like, boy, you not slick. She just said that her dad teaches Greek mythology, or he taught Greek mythology. I guess it makes sense now why her name's Persephone, because it's like Greek mythology, whatever. And then I underlined this: a summer away from everything, where I could read my books without worrying about being called a freak and swim whenever I wanted to. Felt like heaven. Because that is so true. Oh, she just asked, where's your brother? And he said, why do you want to know about my brother? He asked, his brows knitted together. Are you jealous? She's asking about your brother. She's just asking where he is. And then she says, no reason. I just wondered, is he having friends over tonight? Sam looked at me from the corner of his eye. What I really wanted to know was if Sam wanted to hang out again. So you see, it's just to be with you. Like, throwing a tantrum already for what? Also, to go back a little, I highlighted up here, he says, I usually stay in my room reading or whatever. And I think it's so cute when guys read. So, I just highlighted that. I actually, like, really don't like Percy's mom. Like, I mean, not that I don't like her. She's just really judgmental. I can't say I don't like her because I'm like kind of judgmental. But like, damn. Because earlier, like when Sam came over and she was like, Mom, can like he come? She was like, oh my God, do you need a new friend? Like you shouldn't have any friends here. Like, damn. Okay. So I just highlighted in pink because this is so cute. So they're talking about how Delilah, which is like her ex-friend, said that she was weird for liking a movie. He says, you're not weird for liking it. I slumped back down onto the couch satisfied. You're just weird in general, he added, holding back a grin, and I lobbed a cushion at him. He raised his hands and laughed, but I like weird. That's so cute. He just complimented her freckles because she like puts a lot of sunscreen on her face because she was like, oh, I don't like freckles. Like I hate freckles like anywhere else but my face. It's fine. And then I highlighted in purple because he says, I don't understand why you hate your freckles so much. He said, I like them. I stared at him, unblinking. Not only did he compliment her freckles, but he keeps saying stuff like that. Earlier with the weird, you're just weird in general, but I like weird. I don't understand why you hate your freckles so much. I like them. Like, what else do you like, boy? And then at the end, like when it's gonna start a new thing, she says, I rolled my eyes, but secretly I was pleased. And I didn't worry too much about my freckles after that. That's so cute. Sam is so like protective and like jealous. He's protective of like Persephone, but he's jealous of like his brother, like how his brother talks to her. This part, Charlie's making fun of how Percy's eating like a horse. Charlie says, I was just messing around, he said, and stood up to clear his plate, knocking his brother across the back of the head. I tried to catch Sam's eye, but he was scowling at Charlie, his face the color of a field tomato. So he was angry. This is so weird. Like I keep forgetting how they're literally 13. Cause like what are they doing driving a boat together? Like Sam is driving a boat and it's just them two on the boat. Like what? Now I'm going into chapter 5. So obviously they're all like grown up now, right? And he's still such an observer. He doesn't observe anything here, but it's just the way he's like literally just staring at her. It says, I take a deep breath. In 1, 2, 3, 4 and out 1, 2, 3, 4. Before looking over my shoulder. He's leaning against the counter, arms crossed, watching me. Cause she's like helping him do the dishes and stuff, and he's like, what are you doing? That's so cute how he's just like always watching her. And then now he's like, let's get out of here, and they like leave, and now they're having ice cream. So I'm just like so confused. Like, so they're on good terms. So like what happened? So right now they're tasting each other's ice cream, and they're being like flirty. The way Sam is literally just so protective of Percy is so cute. Here, Charlie says, whoa, whoa, Percy. Charlie held his hands up. Your bathing suit plus this boat? I was gonna take us for a drive, but I'm not sure I'll be able to see. I scowled at him. Hilarious, Sam said, then ran his eyes over me. That suit's really cool. Matches the orange in the bracelet. Hop in. The way he defended her because of her bathing suit, it's like a neon orange, and then helped her up. I'm on chapter 6, by the way, and it is pretty long. I'm pretty sure it's like 30 pages. So right now, we know him, how much he observes her. Let's ignore my dog barking, but he's like observing her, and he says, you look different. Sam murmured, squinting while he examined me. No more freckles, he said after a few seconds. And then later on he says, no more bangs either. And then she says later, you know, you're the only boy I've met who pays such close attention to my hair. He grinned. I pay attention to a lot of things about you, Percy Fraser. He used the government name. And then I highlighted that, and then I also put, oh, we know, because I've been saying this, how much he observes her. I literally just slapped my hand on my face, and I haven't even continued reading. Like, it's this that I need to finish reading, and I just read like this, and I went crazy. I might do it how Stephanie did it, how she did like spoiler free and then spoilers at the end, because I'm pretty sure, like Marcella, if she wants to watch my video but she hasn't read this book, like I want her to watch my video but she hasn't read the book. But yeah, they're playing Truth or Dare right now, and it got really interesting. Sam like just really has a way with his words. She's showing him like this thing that she has to write for like a short story contest. He's like reading it and he says, these are really good, Percy, he said. His face turned serious and he gave me there pat on my leg. You're such a sweet, pretty girl on the outside, but really you're a total freak. And then later he says, I mean it as a compliment, he laughed, holding his hands up to shield himself. That is so cute. I highlighted that where he says, you're such a pretty girl on the outside, but you're a total freak. He's so cute. He says, I don't want this to sound bad, but I think maybe sometimes you worry too much about what other people think. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter what other people think about you, because if they don't like you, they're clearly morons. I'm gonna highlight that. I'm on the last page of chapter 6. I'm actually going to underline where it says, sometimes I think no one gets me the way you do. Okay, so I just started chapter 7 and he says, why don't you come in for a drink? 12 years is a lot of time to catch up on. It doesn't escape my notice that he's already done the math. And then she says, there's nothing more I want than to spend time with Sam, to just be near Sam, but I need some time to figure out what I'm going to say to him. I want to talk about the last time we saw each other, to tell him how sorry I am, to tell him why I did what I did. I'm so curious, like, what did you do? The way they've been describing each other is just so, like, perfect. I highlighted it in purple because I just had to. I'm gonna underline this sentence at the top. It says, I've spent hours, days, entire years wondering if Sam could possibly long for me the way I did for him. So I highlighted in yellow. I'm not gonna tell you who the girl is. It says, Taylor slides into her white BMW. I noticed that her handbag and loafers are also white. Mom, forgive me. I'm just reading what it says. This woman probably shits white. And I had to underline that because I literally laughed out loud. That was funny. So I just finished chapter 7. I am going to stop there because my camera is at 2%. So I will get back to you guys when I continue reading. Hey guys, so I'm back. I'm reading chapter 7, I believe, right now. No, JK, I'm reading chapter 8 right now. They are both 15 now, and she says here that he's 6 feet tall now. Sorry, when I was 15, I don't think I knew any guys that were 6 feet tall. Well, I did, they just weren't cute. So they're running right now, and he says, I never knew you were such a sweater. And then she says, I never knew you were such a masochist. And then he says, that writer's workshop really improved your vocabulary. And in her head, she says, I could hear the smirk in his voice. I highlighted that in purple because like I could picture what that sounds like, and I've heard it before, like in guys. I don't know, but that's like one of my favorite things. I love that. Okay, I don't know if it's just me. I'm getting really suspicious vibes from Charlie, which is Sam's brother. I have a feeling he's the problem. He has to do with why, you know, they stopped talking. I'm gonna talk about it more in the spoiler section, but yeah. So I just highlighted in pink that little section there. But she just finished swimming like across the whole lake, and she's like completely out of it after. She's like laying on the sand and he's like next to her. And she's just looking at him, and in her mind she says, he is pretty. And I had to highlight that. That's all I want. Like, pretty boys are just so perfect. So I just underlined 2 things, purple and yellow. What I highlighted in purple was about this guy that she used to go on dates with. She says he was even more muscular than Charlie, and I had to admit that he looked pretty hot. And he's a hockey player. What did she expect? Like, of course he's gonna look hot. And then in yellow, they're going to like a party now, but she puts on this dress with like granny panties, and Delilah's like her friend, her old friend. She's like, you cannot wear those panties. Like, didn't I give you a thong? Like, what are you doing? And so she gives her like a thong from herself. And then Percy says, I don't think my mom would be happy about these, I said, holding them up. Well, she wouldn't be happy about that panty line either, believe me, said Delilah. And I just thought that was hilarious. This boy that she's going on dates with for Delilah is so cute. Like, I know he's not the main character and we're not supposed to like him, but he's so sweet. sweet. Like they're dancing together and he says, "You look beautiful tonight, Percy." I looked up at his eyes, which were blue but a darker, muddier blue than Sam's, and he pulled me flush against his body so that my cheek rested at the top of his chest. "I can't stop thinking of you," he whispered. What? If a guy tells me that, I'll fold. Like, and I kind of just skipped to something over here, like I accidentally read. I don't know if you guys do that. I always skip to like further parts, but he says, "Don't drink it if you don't like it," Mason whispered in my ear so no one could hear. That is so sweet. And he's a hockey player. Like, what? I think I have a crush on Mason, to be honest. I'm not gonna say what's happening because I feel like it's a spoiler. Even though he's like not the main character, I just don't want to spoil anything. So I just started chapter 9 and it's the present now. And it says, "We sit in the truck staring at the Florix house, or at least I stare at the house. Sam is watching me." This boy, he's always looking at her. What are you doing? Another weird thing that happens is he literally cages her. He's got one arm on the door of the truck and the other on the side, caging me with his body. His face turns serious. "Charlie should be home later," he says, eyeing me closely. "He went into the restaurant this morning to help Julia with a few last minute things for tomorrow. It'll be great to see him again," I say, with a smile, but my mouth has gone dry. Charlie has to be a part of something here, because this is all so weird. Why every time they bring up Charlie, they like go all weird. Bro, he keeps flirting. "You sound like your brother." My eyes go wide at what I've just said, but he doesn't seem to notice. So you see what I mean? Like every time they bring up Charlie, it's like something weird. So I'm just looking forward to where they bring up why they haven't talked in a decade. Okay, I just got back from eating. I'm reading Summer 14 Years Ago. I feel like I could relate to Sam in a way that he's like low-key petty, like kinda like low-key, and he gets jealous super easily. So I actually feel so bad for Mason. He's so sweet. Like actually he's so sweet. He likes her so much and there's like nothing wrong with him. Like usually they make the guy like do something bad or make him seem like toxic, like so that you don't like him. But I love Mason is so sweet. That's so sad. I will take Mason if she won't have him. I know it's just Charlie's personality, but I think it's so weird that he's always flirting with Percy. I have this really bad habit of reading down before I read all of this. Like before I read this, I'm already reading this. And it's a really bad habit and I need to stop doing it because I already know what's gonna happen and I'm really excited to read the rest. I'm not even gonna speak on all of that, but yes. Sue, Sam's mom, is so cute. I literally love her. She tells Percy, which I underlined, "Don't take any crap from any boy, not even my own sons," which is so funny. But I underlined that, "Don't take any crap from any boy." Stop. They're talking right now. And he like moved hair out of her face and he says, "Can you look at me please?" And she shakes her head and he says, "Percy." I don't know why that's so cute to me. I'm highlighting again in pink because she's talking about Sam but like in her head or like narrating, you know, first person. And she said, "I didn't want to screw things up either. I just figured we could handle it. Sam was the most mature boy I knew. He was perfect." And that's what I highlighted, that he was perfect. Because to say someone is perfect is a lot. So you know how I said earlier how he repeats everything she says? Well, she said, "You're a huge jerk either way." And he said, "Do you really mean that?" She shook her head and said, "I think you're pretty great." And then a few seconds later, he says, "I think you're pretty great too. You have no idea how much." That is so cute. So I'm highlighting that last part. Concluding that, just finished chapter 10. I will probably read chapter 11 later. I'm back and I am going to start chapter 11. This chapter already starts with the sus Charlie. Charlie says, "I was thinking of turning on the barbecue." I look at Sam, who's now sitting up beside me. "I don't need to stay," I offer. Sam scans my face briefly. Like, why did she say I don't need to stay? Like, it's just food, you know? Something weird is going on with Charlie. I need to know what it is ASAP. Because what's going on? We're in the present now. And Percy is describing Charlie so like weirdly. She's describing him how she would describe Sam. That's all I'm gonna say. I love how Charlie is such a flirt. I would fall for it so quick. I feel the tension through the book. Like there's so much tension, it's scary. So it's official, I'm definitely a Charlie lover. I know this isn't supposed to be some like freaking love triangle, but I'm just falling for Charlie instead of Sam. So again, Percy is literally just talking, and then it says, like, she's thinking in her head, I can feel Sam looking at me. He's just always looking at her. Like, he just like can't look away. I love that. I also put a little thing there. I wrote, as always. This is so cute. I continued reading, and she says, I think I rubbed off on you, Sam Floric. You have no idea, he replies. I'm definitely highlighting that in pink right now. So I'm gonna highlight in purple, because this is not meant to be like, oh, cute, but whew. Oh, this chapter ended on such a like harsh note. I'm dying to know what happened. What did she do? Hey guys, so it's the morning now. I'm aware I look rough. I literally wake up like this every morning. I started reading chapter 12, and I just came across something that I wanted to make a note on. She's just talking about Delilah, and she says, she wasn't wrong. Even with her red hair and explosive personality, she looked softer than me. With roller coaster curves that were irresistible to the boys in her high school who constantly stopped by our lunch table to flirt, she dismissed them all with a flick of her wrist. And I put queen, because as she should. So I can't really say why, because that would be a spoiler, so I'm probably going to talk more about it in the spoiler section. Percy is kind of getting on my nerves. Percy and Sam, because of Percy's current situation. Like, I know I'm supposed to like them. The situation is just not the right situation. Percy just snapped at both Charlie and Sam. This is in the past, by the way. 13 summers ago. She just snapped at both Charlie and Sam. And period. She needed to do that since like the beginning. Charlie and his slick comments. I don't know how to deal with it anymore, to be honest. The tension between Sam and Mason. I just made a comment. All I'm gonna say is I wrote OMG. Just finished chapter 12. If you know, you know. I am now going to start chapter 13. Sam just read his speech for his mom's funeral. It was so cute, the fact that his mom and dad's story kind of sounds like super duper extremely similar to him and Percy's. I'm so confused, curious. The cliffhanger on that chapter, on chapter 13, is crazy. Chapter 14 says fall 13 years ago. The random funny parts in this book really get me because they're just so out of nowhere, and I like love them. Delilah and Percy are sitting in the cafeteria having lunch, and this ginger boy comes up to them and tries to shake Delilah's hand, and she says, what, you think because we're both gingers we should get together and have little carrot-topped brats together? Not gonna happen. Bye-bye. I just highlighted in yellow and I put haha because that was so random, but it was funny. Delilah literally kills me. Like, I know she's like low-key fake, but she really kills me. She's like funny. They're talking about her and Sam. She says, and stop smiling so much, you're making me nauseous. And then I highlighted it and I put me, because when Marcella talks, or when she used to talk about this guy, she would be smiling and giggling so much that I was like, oh my god, you weirdo, stop. I don't know why I find this so cute. Percy's mom stuck a box of condoms inside and put a post-it note that said just in case. That's like so sweet. I don't know. Oh my god. I can't deal with Charlie anymore. It's so suspicious. I'm so excited to know more about what the hell is going on with him. Everything that just happened. It's like, what do you mean, Charlie? Like, there's a meaning behind what he says. I'm gonna stop there for the morning. I have to get ready. Hey guys, so it has been a good 3 days. Today I decided to pick up my book and finish it because I have like 5 chapters left. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So I just highlighted in pink. I'm not gonna say what we're talking about or if it's past, present, whatever. I highlighted in pink because it's so cute. It says, he's smiling and now I'm smiling. And for a second it feels like there's no one but us. That it's always just been us. And I had to highlight that because that's so cute. So Charlie, he just like snapped, started going off on Sam. But I wonder what it's all about. Like, why is he so like mad at him? So I just did some highlighting on this page, purple, pink. I highlighted in purple, Percy, can you look at me? Because if a guy tells me that, I'm a fold. Oh! I have to get my pen and put what? That is the biggest plot twist. ever. Time to highlight in blue. It's getting sad. That was it? No, there has to be more. There's no way that was it. Charlie is such a flirt. I'm literally gonna highlight something he said because he's such a flirt. It's great. I don't know how she's with Sam, really. Oh my god, I love Charlie. I hope they make a book about Charlie because I need him. I'm not telling you guys what I'm highlighting, but it's great. If you have the physical book, I'm highlighting page 273, paragraph 2. Oh my god, everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense, literally everything. So I am now underlining where it says, he told me I was his best friend, he told me he missed me, he told me he loved me. Oh crap, how the next chapter starts, I have to read it. I'm starting not to like Percy herself, like, so I just finished chapter 18. I am going to start 19, which is the last chapter, and then there's the epilogue. So I'm gonna start the epilogue now. I finished the book. It ended so cute. It was a really good book. But I think I am going to give this book 4.5 stars, which is really good. Yeah, it was a really cute book. Highly recommend reading it. This is where I'm going to end the spoiler-free section. I'm gonna go talk about more of it in the spoiler section. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. They're being like flirty. He says, I'll give you a taste of mine to be fair. He tilts his cone to me. This is new. I wipe away the beads of sweat forming above my lip. Sam notices, giving me a crooked grin as though he can read every dirty thought that's running through my mind. I promise it's good, he says, and his voice is as dark and smooth as coffee. I'm not used to this, Sam, one who seems fully aware of his effect on me. Boy, do not. I was like kind of caught off guard with this. Not caught off guard, but like the switch in the mood. He just told her that his mom like owns a restaurant, whatever, and that's why she's never home. And she said, doesn't your dad help? It says Sam paused before responding. No. She says, okay, so why not? My dad's dead, Percy, he said, watching a jet ski roar by. I didn't know what to say. What I should have said was nothing, but instead, I've never met anyone with a dead dad before. Like, why would you say that? Like, honestly, I don't know what I would say, but I would not say that. I've never met anyone with a dead... No. And then he says, I've never met anyone with such a big mouth before. Oh, what's going on? She says, I felt like I was just caught in a net. I sat there, mouth hanging open, my throat and eyes burning, and then the straight line of his lips curled up at one corner and he laughed. Just kidding, he said. Not about my dad being dead. And actually, you do have a big mouth, but I don't mind. Like, what just happened? Sam is so like protective and like jealous. His brother Charlie says, sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I glanced at Sam, but he was staring at Charlie's hand on my leg. Jealousy. This is so cute. She visits the restaurant that the mother owned, which is now dead. She ends up like walking in and she sees him, and right now they're just staring at each other like they can't believe that they're seeing each other. And I'm going to read this last part. It says, we stand staring at each other silently, and then he takes 3 giant strides towards me and wraps his arms around me so tight it's like his large body is a cocoon around mine. He smells like sun and soap and something new that I don't recognize. When he speaks, his voice is a deep rasp that I want to drown in. You came home. I squeezed my eyes shut. I came home. So that's what he told her. He said, you came home. That is so cute. But I'm kind of confused because I thought they would have ended on bad terms, and that's why she just never went back. So now I'm like curious as to why they haven't been in touch for I don't know how long, but I guess we're gonna find out. So I have an assumption, an accusation, I guess you could say. So they're talking now. He's like, how did you know? He glances at me and squints when I don't immediately reply. He's already figured out the answer, but I tell him anyway. Charlie called me. His face darkens. Of course he did, he says flatly. Wait. So my accusation. I just don't want to sound dumb when I say this, but I feel like the reason they haven't talked in a while is probably because of Charlie and her. Because the way that was just all set up, how he immediately knows the answer and how his face darkens. Of course he did, he says flatly. Very suspicious, all of it. So I literally just slapped my hand across my face because they're playing Truth or Dare. And Delilah dared Sam to kiss Percy, and he just stared at her. Like, he didn't say yes or no, but he was just like staring like, what? Like, did they just dare me to do that? Charlie walks in and he says, well, I wouldn't want Percy to feel bad just because you don't have the balls to kiss her. Charlie said. He bent down, took my face in his hands, and moved his mouth over mine before I had a chance to react. His lips were soft and warm and tasted of orange juice, and he pressed them to me long enough that I felt awkward with my eyes open. Then it was over. He pulled back a few inches, his hand still on my face. You snooze, you lose, Sam, Charlie said, looking at me with his cat eyes. And then at the end, it's so sad, she said, I just had my first kiss, but my mind was stuck on the fact that Sam didn't want to kiss me, not even on a dare. I think he wanted to kiss her, it's just... he was scared. Like, it was probably his first kiss too. So right now they're on the raft and he comes up and says, was that your first kiss? He asked. The other day, Charlie, I looked over my shoulder for an escape route out of this conversation. Technically, I sighed and faced him again, cringing. Do we have to talk about this? I know 14 is old for a kiss, but Charlie is such a dick, he interrupted with unusual sharpness. It's not a big deal, I said quickly. It's just a kiss. It's not like it matters or anything, I lied. Your first kiss is a big deal, Percy. And I feel like he's not even that mad about, like, him not kissing her and, like, that it was his brother. I feel like he's just mad that his brother took her first kiss and that, like, that's important. Which is, like, so much cuter, I feel like. I knew it. Sam just said he hasn't kissed anyone yet. She asked, what was your first kiss like? And then he says, I don't know, I haven't kissed anyone yet. So that's literally what I said. That's probably why he didn't want to kiss her in Truth or Dare, because that would have been his first kiss. So he just like kind of friend-zoned her. I'm on the last page of chapter 6. He was so close I could make out the dark flecks of blue in his eyes. But you're not other people, I whispered. His eyes flicked down to my mouth and I leaned a tiny bit closer. I do care what you think. Sometimes I think no one gets me the way you do, he said, the pink of his cheeks deepening to scarlet. Do you ever get that feeling? My mouth felt dry and I ran my tongue over my top lip. His gaze followed its path and I could hear him swallow thickly. Yeah, I said, putting a shaky hand on his wrist, sure that he would close the gap between us. But then he blinked like he had remembered something important and straightened to his full height and said, I don't ever want to mess that up. Meaning that he doesn't want to get in a relationship and risk like breaking up and never talking again and then they lose each other. But like, damn, have some hope. The way they've been describing each other is just so like perfect. He is undeniably gorgeous, even when he's a little intense, maybe especially so. So I just highlighted in blue because they're talking about how he used to go to this like book and video store and he used to go in but never buy anything, and then the guy got mad that he wasn't buying anything, so he had to start buying things, and then he ended up buying a movie every time he went. And he says, my roommates thought it was nuts to have all these movies I didn't watch, but I just couldn't bring myself to. It felt wrong without you. And then she says, this shakes me. Like her thoughts, this shakes me. Bruh. A lady walks in and interrupts them. And he's been getting like phone calls and stuff and he's been like shutting it off, and she's like, do you want to answer that? And he's like, no, like they can wait. The lady walks in, she goes, sorry to interrupt. I tried calling you several times. And then he says, sorry, we got a bit sidetracked. She says, are you going to introduce us? He says, Percy, this is Taylor. Cousin, I ask, but Taylor answers for him, girlfriend. So what are you doing, Sam? Like, did he think this was just a friendly talk? Like, come on. So he just came to her doorstep with coffee and like a bag of food, like randomly, and just knocked in the morning asking if she wants to go to the lake. And you're telling me this is just a friend thing? Like, no. If that was my boyfriend and he was doing that to like his childhood lover, I would automatically break up with him. So this is definitely not just a friend thing. Like, hello. He is just so like, he definitely knows what he's doing. Like, they just pulled into the lake, like where the cottage, whatever. She says, God, I miss this smell, I whisper. Sam puts his large hand around my knee, stopping its jitterbugging, and gives it a gentle squeeze before moving his hand back to the wheel and pulling it to his driveway. I thought they pulled up already, did the little squeeze, and got off the car. No, he did that and then continued driving. Like, what? And that was the end of chapter 7, by the way. Charlie is being so weird. I have a feeling he's the reason why her and Sam don't talk anymore, or didn't talk, whatever, don't talk anymore. After they get back from like their run, Charlie says, "You should try swimming, Purse," he said, his mouth full. "We swim every day," Sam said, in the monotone he reserved for when his brother annoyed him. "No, like real distance swimming across the lake," Charlie clarified. Sam looked over at me and I tried not to look so excited. "That sounds interesting," I said. "I can help you train if you want," Charlie offered, but before I could respond, Sam cut in. "No, we're good." Hey guys, spoiler section, I'm back. Mason just asked her to be his girlfriend with a bracelet. He says, "I was thinking you might want to be my girlfriend." And then he says, "You can think about it, but I want you to know that I really like you." Like, he's like, "Oh, you can think about it?" Like, usually when someone asks you, you have to like decide in that moment, but he's like, "You can think about it." Like, are you kidding? And then he says, "You're so smart and funny and so beautiful, you don't even know it." And then they start like making out. But this girl, she's picturing Sam in her head that it's him. Like, has Sam done any of that? No, he has not complimented you that much. But whatever. I guess we have to grow to like Sam. And then she stops him and she says, "I should go, we'll be late to Delilah's." And she says Mason didn't protest. Like, he's literally not pushing anything. That is so cute. So Percy emailed Sam about Mason asking her out, and she was like, "What do you think I should do?" He responds back with, "I asked you this before, but I think it's time to ask again. Do you like Buckley?" Which is something like a nickname that he called him, I guess. And then she replies back with, "Mason's actually a nice guy, but I like someone else more." And then he responds with, "I think you have your answer." Is this kid like clueless? Like, he's so lost. It's kind of bothering me. I'll grow to like him at the end. Oh my god. She just tried swimming across the lake now, and she like got a cramp halfway through. He like had to lift her up on the boat, and he's trying to like fix her cramp, but he's like feeling up on her leg because that's where the cramp is. And she's like, "Oh my god, this guy is feeling up my leg right now." And whatever, the pain gets resolved. He's like, "Better?" She says yes, but then his hands like don't leave her body, and so she's like, "Why is he still touching me?" Because my cramp is gone, and he knows that. And he says, hold on, I highlighted it in pink because it's so cute, but it's messed up because he's a girlfriend. "You're still the most beautiful woman I've ever known," he says, and it sounds like coarse sandpaper. So she just asked like if his mom hated her, and he said no. And then it says, but then Sam speaks again. "I don't either, by the way." "You don't what?" I ask, looking at him. "I don't hate you," he says simply. I hadn't known how badly I needed to hear those words until they left his lips. Highlighted and underlined that last thing because I had it in blue because that's like kind of sad. So Sam just like licked her ice cream. She says, "You licked my ice cream." He says, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" He frowned. "Like, with your tongue, you've got to stop doing that." "Why? Are you worried your boyfriend will be mad at me or something?" He sounded a little angry. "For the millionth time, Mason is not my boyfriend." "But you kiss him," Sam said. "Yeah, sure, it's no big deal," I replied, not sure where he was going. "Would you think it was a big deal if I told you I kissed someone?" "You kissed someone?" I whispered. "Yeah, my Eve O'Connor at the end of the year dance," he said, and he pushed his hair off his face. It was no big deal. Like, he literally repeated what she said about like her and Mason kissing, and that's totally something I would do. And he always does that. Like, he always like repeats what she said before. Like, he did it before. I don't remember where it was, when it was. His pettiness is like, I relate. Percy really thinks she is slick. Sam suggests sleeping on the couch, and she said, "I really don't want to sleep alone. Can't we just both sleep in your room?" And then he says, "Yeah, we have an air mattress somewhere, like I'll go find it." But then in her head, she's thinking, "It was late and I didn't want to put Sam out more than I already had." Like, sure, you didn't want to put him through trouble. Like, girl, we just know you want to sleep in the same bed. Just say it. Like, come on. And then he said, "Yeah, okay, but I need to shower." So they're gonna share a bed. So they're sharing the same bed, and what Percy is wearing to bed is shorts and a tank top, and that's what she usually wears, supposedly. And he says, "That's the shirt you wear to bed?" he asked. I looked down confused. "It's a little low from up here," he croaked. The tank top was white with thin straps, and come to think of it, was kind of on the revealing side. "You could solve that problem by not looking down it," I muttered. And then he says, "Yeah, sorry, they were just there." Sam is talking about like how he already had his first kiss, and she's like, "What's like, why wouldn't you tell me this?" Like, she's all mad. He apparently has kissed a few girls, and in her head she's thinking he was cute and sweet and smart, but he was also mine, all mine. And I highlighted that because I love the possessiveness. So Oh my god. That was my raw reaction. I left to record it because I knew I was gonna freak. But they just kissed. And it's like the best. I think that was a great first kiss for them, to be honest. He goes, you don't make out with your boyfriend? She goes, he is not my boyfriend. And then he says, and you don't make out with your non-boyfriend? She says, I'd rather make out with someone else. Who? Sam asked. And then she's just not answering. He says, who, Percy? He asked again. Don't make me tell you. I said so quietly I wasn't sure if I'd say it out loud. Please tell me, he pleaded softly. I swallowed thickly, then whispered, I think you know. I want to be sure, he murmured. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and let the words fall from me. I'd rather kiss you. And then, right as she said that, he went and kissed her. And then he says, okay, he whispered, like a question. And she says, I shook my head. More. It says, I heard Sam whisper, I'd rather kiss you too. That's so cute. I'm just gonna make a short little comment up here and we're gonna move along. So we all know about Percy's pajamas. They wake up and he says, I'm getting you a sweatshirt. Charlie doesn't need to enjoy your PJs. What I highlighted in pink here says, and it's something Sam said, he says, you and me are special. There's no one else I'd rather spend time with than you. There's no one else I'd rather talk to than you. And there's no one else I'd rather kiss than you. This is why they're fictional men. Because there's no one like this in real life. And I've talked to Marcella about it. They're not real. The tension in here is crazy. Percy just asks who wants another, talking about like another beer. And then it says, sure, Sam says, but he's still shooting daggers at Charlie. I'm just falling for Charlie instead of Sam. Look how cute he is. He's grabbing his wallet, like getting ready to go. She says, you're leaving already? Did I say something wrong? And he says, no, you're perfect, Purse. I have to highlight that. I'm gonna grab my purple highlighter and highlight that because that's so cute. So he just said that him and his girlfriend broke up right after they dropped Percy off. That's such a coincidence, right? This literally reminds me of Love in Other Words so much, like the book in general and that part. In Love in Other Words, if you haven't read it, then probably don't listen to this part. But Elliot breaks up with his girlfriend basically as soon as he sees the girl again. Damn, I kind of forgot her name. But as soon as he sees her again, he breaks up with his current girlfriend. And that reminds me so much of what Sam just did right now, which is crazy. She just repeated what he said earlier. She said, you're the most beautiful man I've ever known. I'm definitely highlighting that right now. So I just highlighted in blue. Sam is saying how young his parents were when they both died. And he says, I don't want to die young. She says, you won't. He says, I might, you don't. She put her hand over his mouth and says, you won't, not allowed. And then it says, I shake my head, feeling my eyes go watery. He just grabbed her hand that was like over his mouth, kissed the palm of her hand. That's so cute. He's getting into it now with her hand. Chapter 11 just ended with them finishing, and it says, I loved you, he whispers. I know, I say. Her eyes move across my face. You broke my heart. I know that too. Sam just spotted her bracelet that Mason gave her, and she has it on the same wrist as their friendship bracelet. And he asks her, have any updates for me, Percy? And then he says, the silver doesn't really go with ours. Oh my god, I'm literally just going to write, oh my god. So she just got to the house again in the summer. It says the tension between Sam and Charlie was obvious almost as soon as I got out of the car. And Charlie tells her, you're looking more gorgeous than ever, Purse. Sam says subtle. And then Charlie whispers in her ear, for the record, my brother is an idiot. I'm confused. Now, Sam just gave her a present and it's like a few books. She says, Sam, these are so amazing. He says, yeah, not as fancy as a silver bracelet though. And then she's like asking herself, I wasn't even wearing the bracelet. Was it jealousy? And then I wrote, obviously, because if you weren't even wearing the bracelet and he remembers it, like, why are you still so hung up on it? So the reason why I'm not really liking Percy right now, because she literally has a boyfriend, which is Mason. She's cheating. Like, whether you like it or not, she is cheating. I mean, I would kind of understand if, like, he was a terrible boyfriend and she's like, Sam is treating me better, like, let me just cheat on him with Sam. Mason is so sweet. Like, he has done nothing wrong at all. He waited for her to say if she wanted to be his girlfriend or not, and she's literally cheating on him, and it's making me mad. Anyway, Sam just said, "You're driving me crazy," and then in her head, maybe he didn't know what he wanted, didn't know how cruel he was being, but I couldn't let myself be played while he figured it out. And then she tells him, "You're confusing me," I said, and pushed him away. I should go home. That was such a good that is a good reason. Like, he's confusing her and playing with her feelings. Like, really, he is. But she should have pushed away earlier because of the fact she has a boyfriend, not because he's confusing her. I highlighted "You're driving me crazy" and I underlined that last part that I just read. So I just highlighted in blue that she's thinking this in her head, because what if he changed his mind again? I didn't think I could survive that. Like, literally, I understand her because she's just scared. Like, right now he's telling her, I want you now, whatever. But then, like, what if later on he changes his mind and she's like, "I trusted you." So that's just sad. Like, I get where she's coming from. But she's saying, like, "I have a boyfriend. You have to understand that. He's coming in a week." And he said, "I could do that." Percy's boyfriend is coming to town. This is gonna get interesting, okay? Charlie and Sam and Percy, they're looking at Mason through the window of the restaurant because they're in the kitchen. And Charlie leans over Percy's shoulder and he says, "I'm better looking." Like, what do you care if you're better looking or not? I'm so confused. Like, what do you care? I guess I know it's his, like, flirty way, like, joking. It's all the time, you know? Still sus with him. Mason asked, like, "Oh, what are you guys laughing about over there?" And then Sam said, "Percy's stories, what do you think of them?" And he knows that Mason has not read her stories, so he's doing it on purpose. And Mason says, "She's never let me read one." He says, "No, she's incredibly talented. She asks me for feedback on them all the time, but she really doesn't need it. She's a natural writer." Mason says, "Is she?" And then Sam kept going, saying, "You should read this. She wrote it a couple years ago. It's still my favorite. I remember how late we'd stayed up talking about character names." And then Mason, I can't tell if he's being, like, sarcastic or he actually means it, but he says, "I didn't realize how close you two were." Mason said, "Eyeing me now. It's so nice Percy has a friend up here to keep her company." I don't know, I can't tell. And then he pulls Percy down on his lap, Mason, and he was like, "You don't mind, guys? I haven't seen my girl in ages." Percy broke up with Mason. I'm devastated, actually. And she said that when she broke up with him that he was surprised. Of course he was, because he did nothing wrong. And then in here, she was like, he was extra handsy, like, on this trip. Like, yeah, he's your boyfriend. He thought he was your boyfriend. Like, oh my god. She's kind of, like, bothering me a little. Sam and Percy's story is so similar to his mom and dad's because he says this in his speech. I'm gonna read it. "They had been friends since kindergarten, started dating in 9th grade, and got married after high school. My grandfather would tell you that there was no way to convince either one of them to wait just a little bit longer. They knew. Some people are lucky like that. They meet their best friend, the love of their life, and are wise enough to never let go." I wrote, "Oh my god, I am going to cry." Percy walks into the kitchen and she overhears 3 voices talking, and she knows they're talking about her. They're saying, "You're nuts, man," says a deep voice. "Are you sure you want to go down this road again?" "No," I hear Sam reply. "I don't know." He sounds confused, frustrated. "Maybe I do. Do you need us to remind you what a mess you were last time?" "No, of course not. I was there, but we were just kids." "I was there too," the first guy spits. "Just kids? You were pretty effed up for just being a kid." "Sam," the other voice says more gently, "it took years, remember?" So, like, I want to know what they're talking about. Then Charlie comes in and she runs into him and she starts having a panic attack, like an actual panic attack. Sam is helping her breathe, and turns out the guys Sam was talking to was Jordy and Finn, which are the kids when he was little that he was friends with. And then Sam asks, "Do you get them a lot? Do you get these panic attacks a lot?" And she says, "Not in a long time." He says, "When did they start, Percy?" She says, and then it says, "My eyes flashed to Charlie for a split second. About 12 years ago," which is when everything happened. So as you guys know, I'm suspicious of Charlie. So since Sam left for the college program that Percy didn't know about, she's obviously spending more time with Charlie. So he's the only company she has there. He's been realizing that she's been, like, moping around the whole time. So he asked her, like, what happened? Like, spill. He says, "Do you want to know what I think?" She said, "I don't know, do I?" He says, "Honestly, I think my brother was a coward to keep a course a secret. And if it were me, I would have called you as soon as I got to Kingston." It says, "Thanks," I said, my face hot. Like, what do you mean if it were you? He says, Sam has it in his head head that you belong to him, not in a creepy possessive way, but it's more like he has this belief that everything is meant to work out between you two in the end, and I think that's pretty much bull crap. She says, you don't think it's meant to work out? And he says, I don't think anything is meant to be. He already screwed things up when you got that hockey player boyfriend. I hope he fights harder this time, he said, starting the engine, or someone else will. What do you mean someone else will? That's how it ends. So what do you mean by that, Charlie? Who's someone else? Is it you? I will see you guys the next time I decide to read. So I just did some highlighting on this page, purple, pink. In purple again, she says, why did you break up with her? And he says, you know why. Because of her. Like, girl, you do know why. Like, why are you asking? And then in pink, he's the one that says this. You drive me crazy, you know that? You always have. And I've never laughed with anyone like I laughed with you. I've never been friends with anyone like I was with you. He said, you don't have to tell me anything. She says, I have to. And then she says, 12 years ago, you asked me to marry you. He says, I remember. And she says, and I pushed you away. He said, yeah, I remember that too. What? And then she says, I need you to know why I said no when I loved you so much when all I wanted was to say yes. So she wanted to say yes, why didn't she? In blue, I highlighted when she's telling him, I'm not good enough for you, I don't deserve you or your friendship, and especially not anything more than a friendship. There's no way that was it, that he just said, don't you want this too? She says, more than anything. He says, then let me have you, and then they just kiss. There has to be more. I know there's gonna be something with Charlie. There has to be something with Charlie, because the way he's so mad about everything, and him and Percy's like tension is weird, so I'm waiting for that. This is like a few years ago. Now that Sam is in college, she's like alone at the house with Charlie. And he's saying, you need to start swimming again, like don't stop. And he wakes up early to like swim with her, because her and Sam used to wake up early. And she says, I didn't know your species could function before noon. He says, only for you, Purse. And then it says, it sort of sounded like he meant it. I'm gonna just read this paragraph here, and you guys already know what I'm gonna say. She's talking about her and Charlie. Sometimes we'd have coffee and breakfast with Sue after the swim. At first, she seemed uncomfortable with our friendship, looking between us with a slight frown. I'd mentioned it to Charlie once, but he brushed it off. She's just worried you're gonna figure out who the better brother is, he said. And I rolled my eyes, but I wondered. That's how I'm gonna leave it, because you guys already know what I'm gonna say. Again, just Charlie being a flirt up here. And then when it goes down here, he's asking like why her eyes are poofy. He says, you look like you've been swimming with your eyes open in a chlorinated pool. What's he done now? He already freaking knows who. Everything literally makes sense now. Okay, so one, why Charlie and Percy have been weird is because they slept together. And then two, when she said that her first panic attack was 12 years ago and Charlie like looked at her with a face, it's because he was there to witness the first time she had a panic attack. Because she noticed that she was with the wrong brother and she's in the same bed as him, whatever, and she had a panic attack and he's like, what's happening? So literally everything makes sense now. Sam just proposed and I feel so bad because he doesn't even know what happened. Yeah, he just asked to marry her. And he says, you're my best friend, Percy. Please be my family. I highlighted that in pink because that's so cute. This is so true, girl. She didn't even have to tell him about Charlie at that point, to be honest. She got enough good reasons why she don't want to marry him. Because he told her, not many people meet the person they're meant to be with when they're 13, but we did. You know we did. I want you now and I want you forever. I think about it all the time. I think about traveling and getting jobs and having a family, and you're always there with me. You have to be there with me. She says, you might not always feel that way, Sam. You've pushed me away before. You've kept the course for me, and then I spend the most of the summer wondering why I barely heard from you. And then that email, I can't trust that you'll love me forever when I don't even know if you'll love me next month. That's so true, though. Oh my god. Well, I understand why he'd be mad, to be honest. He is angry, but like, I get him. She tells him what she did, right? And he says, how was it? She says, what? And he says, you effed Charlie. I asked you how it was. Wait, did he already know about this? Oh my god. He already knew. He's known. This whole 12 years he has known. I just got to the chapter where she's like super mean to Delilah. And like, now that I'm thinking about it, Delilah was fake before. Obviously because Delilah like bullied her. But then they became friends and Delilah was like not fake at all. And she is so rude to her. Stan Delilah. I know this wasn't like a love triangle type thing with Charlie and Sam, but my prediction is something that won't be able to get confirmed, I'm sure. I feel like Charlie always had a crush on Percy, and I feel like he sort of wished that he could have been in Sam's shoes, but he just knew his brother liked her so much, so he like stepped back a little. So it just kind of makes me sad. But yeah, I like love Charlie. Like, can I have Charlie? So I just highlighted in pink because Sam is being all cute. I was angry with you, with Charlie, and with myself. The way I felt about you was always so clear to me. Even when we were young and I knew you and I were meant for each other. Two halves of a whole. I loved you so much that the word love didn't seem big enough for how I felt. And that's what I highlighted from two halves of a whole, because that's so cute. This is so cute. Because Sam just gave her a new friendship bracelet and she said friends again. And he said, can we have sleepovers as friends? She said, I seem to remember sleepovers being part of the deal. I don't want to mess this up again, Sam. He says, I think messing it up is part of the deal, but I think we might be better at cleaning it up next time. That is the best thing ever. Just finished the book. It ended so cute. Honestly, I was in shock after I ended the epilogue where she says, and I will get down on one knee and ask Sam Floyd to be with me, to be my family forever. Because she's proposing. That's a girl boss move. And I'm so happy that her and Delilah decided to rekindle their friendship. I honestly really liked Delilah when they started being friends again, and she was like actually such a good friend. Because even Sam said it, that she was such a good friend. So I'm glad that they're friends again. Percy, she got on my nerves sometimes. I don't know how to explain it, but I do understand her in a way. And then Sam is super cute, has my heart. Nothing wrong about Sam. Okay, maybe Charlie is kind of in the wrong for like sleeping with his brother's kind of girlfriend, but like Charlie was actually so sweet and he like actually had a crush on her. I don't think his intentions were to get his brother mad. I think it was just because he also had a crush on Percy. Overall, great book. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. It was really good. If you're watching the spoiler section, I'm guessing you've already read the book. If you have read this book, comment down below what you rated it and what your favorite part of the book is. If you agree with me in some parts, if you disagree, let's talk about it. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see another video like this with a different book and with which book. Give this video a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.